Alrighty guys, on today's video we're going to talk about my bow setup. I've had quite a few people ask me. A lot of it was about how I'm running a drop away on my Oneida Phoenix. You can see here I got this rigged out how I want it now. I've shot it for about 3 years. Let's talk about how I got it set up. This stabilizer here, the Bee Stinger, it's going to be the 10-inch. I do have it on the quick disconnect. It's just kind of how I prefer it. So the Quiver, cheap actually, really affordable quiver. It's like a $25 True Glow. Just connects right to your sight, little 2-bolt piece. Here are my arrows I'm running. Let's see here, Easton 5mm full metal jackets. And this is like my hunting arrow here. The other ones have field tips on them. Here's that broadhead. Rage 2-blade extreme. I've probably killed 35 animals with this head with all kinds of compounds. And now my lever bow system. And it's got the 25 grain half out or 75 grain half out on there. We're weighing just over the 550 mark, I believe. Onto the sight. And if we look here, it's a Fast Eddie Spot Hog sight. Usually you know them for their big old neon ring right here. I, for one, do not enjoy that big neon ring. For me, the reason why I'm shooting a single pin to begin with is I got glasses. I have a bad stigmatism. So when it's really bright outside, especially if I'm hunting South Texas like I do, sometimes it'll just be too bright in there and I can't see beyond it, let alone if they're in a shadow under a tree or something. You know, if it's bright daylight and I'm spot and stalking, the animal I'm hunting is either probably in a pond, in the shade somewhere, getting a drink, or under a mesquite tree, staying in the wind in the shade, trying to keep itself cooled. And if my sight's real bright and glaring at me and the image behind it is real dark, it's just not going to work out. Besides that, that's the only adjustment I had to make to my sight. Besides that, I got the sight tape set up all the way out to 100 yards, and we do have clearance all the way out to 100 yards. You know, once you get to turning this dial, that sight comes down. You got to worry about clearance here, but we're good out to 100. My normal peep is just your everyday peep. Just got that joker tied in there. Just regular cat whiskers for my string. Let's get into this Hamskea. So the Hamskea is just a normal limb-driven rest. So that means your timing cable or timing cord, whatever you want, coming from your rest down to the contact of your bow to time it right, is it has to be something that attaches to the limb of the bow, not the cable. So I did have a QAD on here that I attached to this cable right here. And when this cable comes down, pulls the rest, it would pull the rest up. And I ran that for about 2 years. And I actually have a video of a doe I shot at in late November on a public land hunt, just not too far from here, actually, on some public land. And my rest just did not clear. So it came down, arrow hit it, kicked it up, and it flew through. Just did not hit that deer. She was at like 6 yards, had it on film, everything was perfect, eating under a little persimmon tree right under me. I was heartbroken. Immediately threw the rest in the trash, and then dug it back out and sold it on Facebook Marketplace because it wasn't the rest's fault. It was just, that's not how you want to set up your bow. So limb driven. Why I say that is because it comes from here to your power limb. That's exactly how that rest would set up on any bow. Whether it's a lever bow, compound, I guess that's the only two bows you put a drop away on. But yeah, I just have it tied right there to the power limb. Comes through, timed up perfectly. Hasn't given me any issues at all. And yeah, that's pretty much on the bow setup. Just to show y'all, some people say these bows are too loud. Some people say they're too slow. I had an arrow set up that was right about 405 grains, I think. And it was shooting 278 feet a second. So, I mean, there's some flagship bows that aren't putting up numbers like that right now. Anyways, I'm going to scoot back to maybe 20, 30, 40, take a couple shots for y'all. Just let y'all see how everything functions, and we'll go from there. Alrighty, guys, so we kind of went over the Hamskea setup with my rest just being limb-driven. Super simple. You attach it to your power limb just like you would a normal bow. We got the Spot Hog set to 20 yards. And we're just going to do a walk back, couple shots so y'all can see how the bow performs, and see if you want to get yourself one. You go 20 yards, they want to shoot that turkey. Smoked him. Let's go back to 30. All right, well, we're back to 30 yards now. As you can see, we got it marked with our zip ties here. Get 30 yards. I'm gonna move our sight. See, we can't put a pocket rocket behind that deer. Oh yeah. Let's go back to 40. All right, back to 40 now. I'm going to take my quiver off. Usually I shoot with it off, but it's closer ranges usually don't hurt nothing. Move our sight. We're set to 40. Sling another one. Let's put it behind that deer again. Money. We got our dial set to 50. Let's take a poke. Sounded good. All right, 60 yards. This is getting to where it's, you know, who can spit a seed further, you or your buddy. For me, I really ain't sending one at a deer this far unless, you know, situational things can happen, whether you're confident or not as an archer. But for this setup, I usually keep a 15 in, but let's send one anyways. Sounded good. All right, you see what that says, 70 yards? Seems like 150 way back here, but we're gonna send one, see where it hits. Sounded good.